Let's talk a little bit more about this OnePlus watch, but first I need to remind you that we are giving away 30 units, 30 OnePlus watches. First of all, make sure you subscribe to this channel, then jump down to the comment section and leave your Twitter handle for your chance to win one of 30 of these. Good luck to everybody involved. All right, so in the last video, we did the unboxing. It was kind of basic. This time around, we have some new software and I'm able to look a little bit more extensively at the watch itself and some of the features that are built into it. The first thing that struck me having used it for a couple days is the battery life stuff. It's a bigger watch, bigger battery. It has fast charging in it, but then when it comes to wearing down that battery, so far so good. I had used it for about 2 days and only used around 20% of the battery, and I put the brightness on the screen up to the maximum. If I jump into the settings here and go to display and brightness, you will see it's at a level 5. Now you can put it to an auto setting, which will adjust obviously to the environment. That would be your best for ultimate battery savings. I have raise to wake turned on. I have constant heart rate turned on. So far, it's pretty promising on the battery front. Now, the other thing I should mention, there is a bunch of watch faces and there's actually even more coming. So the one that I have here is pretty basic. You can see you have the time, you have your steps, your activity, your fat burn, calorie burn situation going on. But you can actually, I mean, it can get even deeper than that. A lot of them are also modifiable, like this big numbers one. And something that's cool, when you go to apply a watch face, it is very fast to apply. There's like, I don't know why I like that, but it's whatever. It's very fast to apply. On this watch face, you tap here to see more specific information and yeah, just like that. See what I'm saying? Tap, see, tap, go back to time. You also look at the rings to see how much you've achieved as far as your goals are concerned. Now I have in this list here 14 different watch faces, but there's even more than that. Look at this. You got the classic looks, some dynamic looks, and like I said, many of these are also configurable on top of the fact. Now, the other way that you can switch watch faces is just by pressing and holding on the watch. This will bring up a number of options. And the ones that are configurable will have this little dial, this little settings icon at the bottom. If I click that, you can see I can take like the weather at the top and switch that to power if I want to see battery life. And I can take the stopwatch and change that to, oh, I don't know, the date. Now I have the date twice. I don't know why you'd want that. I mean, check it out. Heart rate, battery life, whatever is important to you, you get it onto the watch face. The display is a nice circular display, very bright. It was so good looking that I wanted to use it full brightness, and I felt like this would have the battery capacity to do so. When it does come time to recharge, OnePlus claims that about 20 minutes of charging is going to provide up to 7 days of battery life. So that's really one of the main selling features here, is probably battery life and price. Now the app does a nice breakdown of the remaining features. So if I click through here, you are gonna have your step counter, your workout time, your calorie burn, and your activity sessions. You can see your historical heart rate information. Sleep data is going to be coming. I have not slept with the device yet. And then that's what's gonna measure your SpO2. SpO2 measures the percentage of oxygenated hemoglobin compared to the total amount of hemoglobin in the blood. An estimate of the amount of oxygen in the blood, and an essential physiological parameter that reflects respiratory function. This is getting measured at night during sleep, and it can also help to identify certain issues with your sleep. If you're just not breathing right, there's a number of problems you can have there. This could be the thing that alerts you. A lot of people are wanting to check their SpO2s. You just jump in here, head to blood oxygen, and you just run a blood oxygen on demand, as I'm doing right here. And you'll see it'll just move around real quick. So you can see I'm okay, I'm alive. If you look at this chart here, you wanna be over 90 to be normal. And if you have anything below that, you're gonna wanna get yourself checked out. Now you have this stress reading over here as well. Now this is using heart rate variability. This is some pretty dynamic stuff. It's having to do with the variability in your heartbeat pattern. You can see here low stress levels, your mind and body are relaxed, you're ready to exercise, 1 to 29. Anyway, you can see where I'm at. I'm in the low level right now. I could perform, I could be doing some exercise. Now you also have your workout logs built in. You can see there's a little run in here that was actually just around the studio, nothing major, but you can log that. There is GPS functionality built in as well. And you're often seeing this variety of sensors in more expensive watches. This is actually, I mean, it's all in here. Most of what you're gonna want is in here. There's GPS in the watch. There's also a music player built into the watch with about 4 gigs of storage or 500 songs. So you can leave your device at home and go for a run just with the watch and Bluetooth headphones. Could be earbuds, could be over-ear headphones. This can also make and take phone calls in the presence of the device. So swiping down from the top brings up your variety of settings. You have sleep mode. You can switch quickly between auto brightness, dim, medium, and high. You can go ahead and find your phone at any moment. This is the fresh later case in the crimson. And yes, we do have it for OnePlus devices and others. Head over to later case, check out the new color, crimson. We have our stopwatch. Oh no, we have our alarm clock. We have a tiny little flashlight. That's kind of funny. And then we have our settings. This brings us into our connection for the Bluetooth headset, sound, vibration, do not disturb. Function key, you can change what the function key does, where you want it to launch into. By default, it takes you into a variety of workouts to choose from. This list is going to grow as the watch gets updated to a total of 110 different types of workouts. Right now you have running, fat burn, run, outdoor cycling, indoor cycling. I mean, it's quite a comprehensive list already, but it's gonna be growing as well. Anyway, you can reprogram this key down here to go elsewhere if you want it to some other functionality on the watch. It can go straight to heart rate, blood oxygen, sleep, stress, whatever, to your music player, wherever you want it to go. If I swipe to the right-hand side, I will immediately go into heart rate sensing, and that's real time. There's a couple different settings for that, whether you choose real-time tracking or dynamic tracking, which is if you're just resting for a long period of time, it's supposed to sense that that's the case and then conserve battery life. I have it in the full real-time tracking right now, actually. If you keep going over, this is gonna be your sleep data, and then that's your audio player. So I can play and pause music. Now, if I were to pair Bluetooth headphones and install music directly onto the watch, then obviously I'd be spitting music out of the watch to the headphones. From the bottom is where notifications are gonna live. I'm not a huge notification on the wrist guy. I prefer the fitness aspect of these. What I like is that you can trigger any one of these readings on demand. Even the stress level, which is based on heart rate variability, I can do a real-time test right like this. Oh, I'm relaxed. So we already knew that, but I just had to check up on myself. Am I still relaxed? I mean, I'm filming a video. That could be stressful. Apparently not. I'm pretty used to it at this point. I've done this a few times. So there's breathing exercises built in. You can do a little meditation session. As I mentioned, phone. So you can, oh, look at this. Willie Doo's been calling the watch 4 different times. Weather, of course, is in here as well. That's a nice little update to get. Alarm clock, stopwatch, timer. Here's a couple more interesting ones. How about a barometer? And what about a compass as well? Oh, look at, check it out, check it out. Absolutely recalibrated. So I'll just pick running, and this is what your entry page looks like. You can see the GPS is active. The heart rate is listed over here, and you can go ahead and click go. You'll get a nice little countdown, 3, 2, 1. And this is where you will see which zone you're in based on your heart rate, the distance traveled. And from here, you can swipe to the left. You can pause your exercise or completely stop it. My distance was too short to be, that's fine. Now you probably notice at this point, this is a pretty beefy watch, which I like. I have fairly large wrists, but you're gonna wanna keep that in mind. The band design that they went for, at least on this stock version, is this like rubberized finish. Here's the beauty of it. It's a simple disconnect, tiny little trigger section over here, and then it's actually a standardized pin that's in there. So that's one advantage here, is that that's some pretty universal compatibility that's in there. All right, so let's get a complete rundown of the specifications. The model we're looking at right here is the Midnight Black. There's also that limited edition Cobalt model that I wouldn't mind taking a look at. You can see it in some water here. That's because it is IP68 certified
One of the highlights of the product here is the display, 1.39-inch AMOLED. It is bright, it is vibrant, it is saturated. It's a nice thing to look at, especially when you got the brightness boosted. 454 by 454 pixels for an effective PPI of 326. Entire construction here, the watch casing, 316L stainless steel. It has a substantial feel to it. It's a 46 millimeter watch, and as you saw on my wrist, it gives it a lot of presence. Inside, you've got an acceleration sensor, there's a gyroscope. As I mentioned, you have GPS in there as well. That's kind of a nice one for your biking and your running. Bluetooth connection is 5.0. That battery with that amazing runtime, 402 milliamp hours, which OnePlus claims up to 14 days for typical use. Here you can see a phone call coming through. That's Willie Do on there. Yes, you can carry out an entire phone call on the watch in a pinch. The recharge is also very quick, so about 20 minutes of a charge from dead can give you up to 7 days battery life. Of course, the last portion of the charge, that's the toughest part, but you can see even here it's still pretty quick. Now, depending on the features you use, your battery life could move a little bit. For example, if you're doing the sleep blood oxygen monitoring consistently, then you're looking at about 5 days, but that's not really something that I will be running every evening anyway. And then the other reminder here is that you do have that onboard storage, 4 gigabytes inside the watch, capable of storing around 500 songs, so you can use it independent of your smartphone if you want to play some tunes when you head out for that fitness activity and you don't want to have that heavy phone attached to you at the same time. There's a tremendous number of watch faces to look through. It's something for everybody in here. I don't know what the total is at this moment, but I've got like 15 different ones installed, and then there's another, 50 or so to look through. So if you're more into the design style, something that's a little bit more artistic, that's there for you. If you want one that's very data driven with a lot of information at a glance, that's in there for you as well.
Don't forget, we have a bunch of them to give away, 30 total units. So just go ahead, as mentioned at the beginning of this video, and make sure to drop your Twitter handle in the comment section of this video for your chance to win your very own OnePlus watch. Good luck.